Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of making progress in the game, we're going to make note of the fact that we've died a lot. That's sort of par for the course in a game like this, but I have noticed that we are slightly running low on embers, and I need those. So, let us engage in a touch of jolly cooperation. Before we even begin, it's important to do a couple things. First of all, change your covenant to Warriors of Sunlight. There is no reason whatsoever to co-op as anything else. If you don't go as a Warrior of Sunlight, you won't get a Sunlight medal when you're done. And since you can just change covenants whenever, that's sort of like, why wouldn't you do that? Come on, be reasonable. Another important thing to do is equip the most eye-catching or ridiculous-looking gear that you have. This game's online community is quite active still, so you need to do something to differentiate yourself from the crowd of people wearing the Fallen Knight gear. I myself would never wear such a thing because, you know, pee pants. Very undignified. The Xanthus crown and the Evangelist set should suffice. Of course, if you're planning on co-oping on a difficult boss, you might want a gear for that boss in particular, but the Crystal Sage with more than one person is really quite a pushover. And we're waiting. Sometimes this is just how it goes. You put down your sign and you gotta wait a bit for somebody to bite. Fortunately, it never seems to take very long. It also sort of presupposes that the netcode works in the first place and doesn't just boot you out, but I found that's more of a problem with invasions than summoning. I see we have similar taste in headwear. Let me rub it. I'm not quite sure what the holdup is here, to be perfectly frank. We're right by the boss door. Oh dear. So the netcode only sort of worked. It also appears that the host is under invasion. However, it is undignified to be part of a gank squad. I reject such foul and dishonorable tactics. I'm going to wait by the boss door, and if the host wants to join me in doing jolly cooperation, then he can so do so. But I will have none of this dishonorable business. Well, that diversion concluded. Let's try this again and hope to actually accomplish anything. Oh, that was quick. No wasting time here. We're straight to the boss. Just how I like it. Now, the thing about co-oping bosses is that they do scale up depending on the number of players that you have, so it can actually be disadvantageous to summon too many helpers. Generally speaking, I have found that the sweet spot for phantom host ratio is 1-to-1. Having 2 people will generally make managing aggro easier and give people an opportunity to cover one another when things get rough, but it does not bump up boss health and attack damage to ridiculous levels. I've seen some people try to fight bosses with like 4 helpers, and it never ends like they want it to. In particular, having an extra body in the Crystal Sages fight is quite helpful because it's very easy to simply take care of the clones before they have a chance to wreak any havoc. And there we go. Much simpler. It is customary to exchange emotes upon victory. And honestly, at any other point in the game, because gestures are really good. And there we go. Ember restored, and we also got a spare one. If you find yourself dying a lot doing, what? Absolutely not. Okay, this is very strange. This should not be happening. I've defeated the area boss of the Road of Sacrifices. Getting invaded here is not something that should be happening to me at this point in time. These summon signs are also highly irregular. At this point during the recording, I was genuinely quite confused as to what was going on. But I figured that, you know, if he came all the way here to fight me, I might as well humor the guy. That is, of course, dependent on the fact if he can find me or not. And while I am an accommodating host, I am not so accommodating as to go find him out in the swamp where there are giant crabs. At this point, I wonder if there's been a bug, so I just try to go into the boss arena, but you can't. Normally, if the area boss is not defeated, you can simply enter the fog door and send any invaders home. However, since, in this bizarre case, the Crystal Sage is already dead, I have no recourse but to simply wait for this guy to come find me. Might as well clear things out while I'm waiting so I don't have to deal with any extra entanglements. Oh, there he is. It should be noted that I am extremely good at this video game. I'm still more amused at this guy's entire presence than anything else. In terms of fighting style, he's nothing special. He's just one of the innumerable R1 spammers in the game. Not that I have much room to talk, I'm using a straight sword too, but at least I threw a fireball at him. Varied it up with a parry. Doing some weapon arts, feeling fancy. Now, I don't want to say anything lame like, if I was fighting seriously, this guy would be dead by now. But it really wasn't much of a contest in the end. Return to whence you came. Can I leave now? Is the game working again? Okay, cool. Alright, thank you for joining me on this interesting adventure in multiplayer. Next time we'll actually go back to what we were doing and explore some more of the Cathedral of the Deep. Until then, stay safe.